Hi guys, welcome back. Okay, today you better get your sponges because I'm spilling tea on myself. About 2 weeks now, I've been talking up these pencils and how wonderful they are. But I also made you guys a promise that when I reviewed my own pencils, I would also talk about the cons. And so far, I have not. Today, I'm going to put it all out there because I don't want anybody to purchase these pencils and be like, they're not what you said they were, and then come up with some reasoning. So you'll understand when I'm going through the things that I found in these pencils that if I had the power to change, I would. But I also found workarounds. So let's just talk about what I am doing today. First of all, I'm working on hippie watercolor paper. Now, I did a review of the hippie watercolor paper, and the one thing I didn't 100% love was the fact that it was not 100% cotton. And for me personally, and I know everybody's different, everybody likes to work on their own stuff, I like 100% cotton when I'm working on a picture. The pad was really big, and I didn't want it to just sit here. So I grabbed a sheet and I started, doodling on it, and because it was big. And I discovered a couple of things on it. First of all, this is a fantastic mixed media paper. I was really happy because not only was it really good for pencils, it was good for the watercolor. It was okay for watercolor for a non-linen or 100% cotton paper. It was fine. But it was fantastic with pastels. I know they're marketing it as a watercolor paper. I think they should use it as a mixed media paper and break into that market. And something maybe I'm going to tell them about too, because I was really happy with this. So now I'm really glad I have two books. It's nice and thick. It's a good price. And I'm mentioning it again because there was a little drama a couple of weeks ago, a little bit more than a couple of weeks ago, where a YouTuber brought up the fact that a lot of influencers, you see the product and then you never see it again. So I just wanted to let you know I do use my products after a review, and we are using the hippie water paper. I wanted to show you a positive on this because I didn't discover this until I am 5 full pictures into using these pencils. And I'm not talking just a little bit. I did from first layer to burnish on 5 pictures already. And can you tell? My pencils barely wore down. And this is 5. And we're going to come to my first con. What do you notice on this? All my pencils are up here. And my black pencil is down here. So I'm going to talk about the first con, and that's going to be the black pencil. So I'm going to give myself an excuse. It was the best black that I can possibly find. There's no real Chinese set that I would go out there and say, buy this black pencil or buy this white pencil like I do with my Holbein whites, my ivory black from Derwent. They were just the black and the white, they're workhorses. You use them a lot, and they really need to be opaque and the color that you're wanting. Everything else is okay, you can use it. Well, that's the way the black pencil was for me in this set. The black pencil, now I'm not working on a smooth surface, I'm working on a toothy paper. So you can, when you burnish, look how nice this burnishes. And of course, I can fit in 20, 30 layers in between. But I'm going hard. It burnishes beautifully, this paper. And see how little dust? Hardly anything. Let's talk about this black. It's okay when it's burnished, but I find this black to be a little bit gray. And I would put it up there with a Prismacolor 90%. So it's not impossible to use, and I've actually been using it as I would a 90% gray. But when I needed that, I did another color it. You'll see me using the black a lot when there wasn't really a lot of black in the picture, and I did a lot of my 90% gray. Look at the shadows, not in my lights. I think my LED bulbs need to be changed. I said that a while ago and I haven't done it yet. That is the first con. Now, why is this pencil so different than all my other pencils? Obviously, the size. Well, I did have a little bit of trouble with this one. Not one pencil has broken a tip, including the black. I have not broken a tip, not even crumbled a tip on the paper when drawing. I broke this pencil in my sharpener, and I can't say it was the pencil. I needed to clean out my pencil sharpeners. After using my Jarlink a lot, I've discovered that it works best. If I plug it in, it's perfect. If I don't use it on the plug and I'm just using it, it could be the batteries I put in here are very old, but I wasn't getting as powerful a charge as I would have liked to have gotten. I did break off a couple of black tips into the two sharpeners. And so I got to actually test out the ejection on the Jarlink that I was talking. It totes itself out as having an automatic rejection. And I have to say, it's true. I had no trouble getting the tip. When I broke the tip off in it, I had no trouble getting it out. I just turned it over and it fell out in my hand. Where my Taihu, I usually have to go in there with something and dig it out. I guess they told the truth about that. It does eject it. What's curious about this is I heard the crunch of the pencil point breaking. It wasn't a shocker. I heard it crunch. So I don't think the core was shattered, because if the core was shattered, my pencil would just be falling apart. I actually heard, and I knew like the snap of the pencil point, and I was like, oh damn. That was the con of, so far, all the pencils that I've used. I had the trouble with the black, and I don't even think it was the black's fault. If it becomes a huge problem, then I'll address it with Andy, and we'll see about changing up the formula in the black pencil, or doing something about the black pencil in the next, go around where he's manufacturing it. But I don't think so. I think the black pencil is fine, and it's just me. And as I said, it was the color. So that was the first con that I've found. I didn't realize that I did my second con too. I wrote down must use a sharp sharpener, and that was talking about this. Consider it not sharp when your power is not at its optimum. So that was the second con. So far we're on two. Third one, and I know somebody's going to bring it up, and I have to address it. No light fast information. And that is because these pencils are out of China. I don't personally believe, and this is my opinion, and the opinion of a lot of other artists, we don't believe, and I'm not going to even say we, because I'm not going to speak for all artists and all pencils, but I am talking about pencils I helped develop. I have not been offered or seen any sort of light fast information, and I guess I haven't wanted to ask, because I kind of knew, and I wasn't going to tote these out as being light fast like some companies do. So I am going to put these into the same category as I put all pencils that come out of China that have a budget price tag. They're not for selling. This is not, and if you've noticed, I haven't toted these out or tried to market to the professionals who are selling their work. That's not what this is. It's a budget set. And personally, I do not believe that if you are selling your work, you should be using a budget pencil. There are professional pencils out there that do have the light fast testing that are not of the same category as the budget pencils. Budget pencils are for the common folk. It's for the students, the people who like to do their own art, and they're not looking to make a living at it. If you're making a living at something, use the proper tools. And that includes much more expensive pencils. I'm going to put this down as a con because I'm not presenting you with light fast information, and I'm going to just say it and say it now. I don't believe they're light fast, and Andy has not come out and said they're light fast, and nowhere on the box will it say this. Those budget pencils that do tote themselves out, I want to see their information. I want to see their testing methods before I'll believe that they are actually a light fast pencil. The next one. The next con. These are oil pencils. They are not Prismacolor creamy soft. It's apples and oranges. You must have patience with these pencils. They are fantastic at blending and layering. But if you're going to come in and color like this, and then you're going to go down, and you're using such a heavy hand that you're going to get this amount of pigment on your paper, you're missing out on a lot of what this pencil can do. This pencil was made for many, many layers, and you will see that they blend into each other. A darker one, so you see, because I've already... Well, actually, I'm not. I'm going to... Your first layers with these pencils, and really any pencils, you should be able to see the tooth of the paper. All of a sudden, you're going to see a pattern forming in the lead. This is not burnished. When you take another pencil and you go over it very lightly, you're still staying within that top layer of your paper. You're going to start to notice, and you can see, I didn't apply any pressure. Notice how this is starting to change color? Now, if I had come in and started to go like this, yeah, it works. But if I'm going to put 3 or 4 layers on it, you're going to burnish really quickly. And that's not, first of all, it's not for colored pencils. If you want something like that you have to use 1 layer or 2 layers on, move over to markers, because that's what you'll get. Or move over to something that's really thick, like a pastel. You'll be happier. You need patience for oil pencils. And if you have that patience, you're going to be rewarded at the end of the day. Now, I'm on my 3rd or 4th layer. I'm still seeing the tooth of the paper. I'm getting in good coloring on here. Now, if I move to another red color, reddish purple color over this, and now it becomes a 3-color blend, the magic's going to start. Because look, you have this color, you have this color, you have this color, and now a new color is emerging, which is the combination of all of these pencils in. Because if you notice this really on, this color is not the same as this color. You've got that cellophane look coming in here. So if you have a heavy hand and you're looking to have instant gratification, maybe these aren't for you. But if you do it properly, the magic happens. Another one, and you know that I did not include a white pencil in this set. And that was because I don't believe that the white is a great quality that comes out of the Chinese market. Just about every budget brand on the market, and I can tell you none of them were good. They're all translucent. They don't change the paper much or the color, and they kind of just sit on top. Normally, I use the Derwent Chinese White or a Holbein White. It's a good quality white opaque pencil. And you can see, so here is the Chinese White Soft. When I use it, I'll use it over the black. You were able to see it be very waxy over the look of this pencil. So as I was doing these pictures, I found myself using the Holbein Soft White less and less. And I said, there has to be something out there that's not the Holbein White, because let's face it, not everybody has a Holbein White. I'm out of my Derwent Chinese White, so I don't have it to show you or even try with this yet. But I did try it with the good old Prismacolor. And what I found with the Prismacolor is I got a beautiful blend. So while I've been toting out these pencils for, I always use your Holbein White. That was a me bad. These pencils do much better with a Prismacolor. I guess because they're not as waxy. And you can see I got a pastel, more of a pastel color. I'll try to zoom in on this so you could see. Well, actually, I'll do a comparison now that I've colored that in. So here's the original, and now you have the pastel version of the original color. We're going to switch up our pencil and use the Prismacolor instead, which is not that bad, and I bet Holbein works okay. I have a Blick. Let's see what Blick does. Yeah, Blick works even better than the Holbein on here. I'm not a super fan of Blick pencils, but they're not bad. So there you have it, and use one of the lesser quality but good quality pencil. This is not really a con, but kind of a trick for you guys to do. And I felt that I've been using this trick with these pencils since day one. And I've mentioned it in other videos on and off through the years too, but it became very essential with this when I was working with these. Sometimes when you're working with wax or you're working with oil, you're working and you feel like your paper is completely full and it's burnished. If you work on an area for too long, and I'm just guessing and I'm hypothesizing from what I see, it's almost like you're warming up the wax that's in the pencil or the oil, and it's your pencil's going to start to slip a little bit. So you're not going to be grabbing into any tube. If you let your pencil rest, so say you're working in one area and you start feeling it's getting a little burnishy, you're not getting as much color into it, stop working in that area. Let the color settle, harden back up, grow cold, work in a different area. Then come back to it. And you'll be amazed that all of a sudden what was having your colors slip and slide all over the place, all of a sudden your area is taking on more color. You're adding to that what you thought was burnished and it really wasn't. And I think it's just either that it gets warm and you can't grab onto it because of friction, or it needs to settle into the paper and then some tooth pops back up and you're able to grab onto more pencil. Now, this is not just my pencils. This is really a trick for everybody's book. You can always get another little bit on. Did you ever walk away from it the next day and you come back and your page is behaving differently than it was the night before? This is the exact reason why. It needs to take a break. The last one that I'm going to talk to you about is water solubility. These pencils, I am not toting them out as being completely not water soluble, but they are not a watercolor pencil. My suggestion, and for all budget pencils, it's not just this one, it's every brand has some degree of water solubility in it. And not all colors, but some colors. Do your watercolor first. And I recommend that whenever I do mixed media, is set your watercolor in first. It's better practice. It's better art. It flattens out. It dries. It's nice. Let it dry and then use these pencils over it. But what I did find out, which I was very thankful for, it did not change at all when I sprayed it. And I have that in another video, which I haven't shown to you yet. But when I sealed this, now some solubility will lift up and move your fine details. I didn't have a problem with this. Now, I used some good quality fixative, but I also did it properly. And what you will find is that pencil will lift and shift if you are too close when you're spraying it. The first layer of anything that you spray, and say you put 2-3 layers on, because do finally spray seal something, I always put on about 3 layers because I like a high gloss, and that's just my personal preference. Some people like matte, and that's great too, but I personally, I like the depth that a gloss will produce on paper. And experiment. Use a matte. You can't, because I'm saying I like gloss, don't just go out and never try matte. Matte, I do have matte fixatives, and they are good for certain applications, but it just so happens my taste, it's with the gloss. Gloss will go into the paper. So your first layer of gloss doesn't always come out glossy. What I recommend to you is to shake your can really, really well. Get all those chemicals mixed up because they do separate out a little bit. And from at least 12 inches above the page, do a very light spray. Don't concentrate in any one area. If you are spraying your paper and you've pooled your spray in one area, that's not a proper seal. And you're going to get shifting, and it's like putting your paper in a chemical bath. Do it properly. 12 inches the first time. Let it completely dry. A lot of people will do it and then they won't. They just let it go. And some people will, I'm about to run out of film. Some people will spray and then spray again and then spray again. You must let the layers. So those are the cons that I found. Now, if you have any problems with your pencils at all, I'm just going to say you can bring the issue to Andy directly. But I'm warning you, Andy does not speak English very well. His wife does, but often I've learned how to speak to them, put it to you that way. I communicate very well with them, but I've learned how to do it over time. I know what phrases they understand and what words they understand and what words they use back to me that don't always mean the same. Okay, they're not speaking English as their first language. They're speaking Chinese, which to me is amazing because I can never figure that language out. So I will communicate any problems with pencils to Andy, and we will take care of it. I will make sure that the problem and the issue. Now, if you get a damaged set, that's not on me. Or you're complaining that, oh, they charged your, Amazon charged your credit card twice and they sent two sets instead of one. That's not for me to take care of. I'm only here for problems with the pencils. I'm not there for any sort of Amazon things. I won't pass it on to Andy. You have to go through Amazon. I'm not financially bound with these pencils, so I don't make the money on the pencils. If you are talking money, talk directly to Andy or through Amazon, of course. So that is my con visit video, and I will see you guys in my next video. Take care. Bye-bye.